this is Lorna, and I'm in my favorite place. Thank you so much for stopping by Inspired Memoirs. This channel was created to encourage you and to encourage someone else. So take a moment to like, share, comment, click like, subscribe, and share this information with someone else that maybe could use the encouragement. We all could use encouragement, right? Today we're going to talk about the favorite two cousins that we don't like to talk about a whole lot. And a lot of times we don't pay attention, but they run hand in hand. We're talking about time management and emotional management. Yes, goodness. We have to learn to master ourselves. They run they run parallel to each other, and they usually feed off of each other. Your time management as well as your emotional management. Don't you know that if you're always consistently running late somewhere, that means you're consistently in a rush to try to get things done in a small amount of time? It throws you off, your emotions get off, or you get depressed, or you get sad about things. You have to learn to manage your time. Sometimes it's just one little thing or two little things that we need to tweak about the way we start our day. And once we start our day off correctly, we'll be able to flow easier through the rest of our day because we are conscious that we have to be protective of our time. We have to manage our time. Sometimes we spend too much time on Facebook, or we spend too much time on other forms of social media. I want to encourage you to know that it can be fixed and that you are not alone. There are millions and millions of people, that suffer with their emotional imbalances because they think about things too long. The thought process, you stay thinking about something negative so long until it affects, you begin to speak negatively, and it begins to affect everything that you touch, everything that you say, everything, that you put your hands to do is affected because as a man thinketh, so is he. So you have to be conscious of the thoughts, the patterns of your thoughts, and then when you catch yourself thinking about something too long, then you have to begin to put action, behind that time. Now, time is our friend, but time can also, be an enemy to us if we don't use time properly, right? So we have to make sure that we are using our time properly. It looks like the lights just flickered. It's raining here in Duval County, but I'm not complaining about it because guess what? We were almost at a drought level because it was so dry here. So I appreciate the rain. The rain is good. My grass thanks thanks God for the rain. So what we want to do is make sure that we are conscious of the time that we're spending and to make sure that we're not giving our energy to too many things that don't deserve it. We have to minimize and put our energy where strength lies. Put our energy where our strength lies. You give too much of yourself to one issue, one task, you'll burn yourself out and you won't be able to complete your own personal goals and your own assignments. And this year, 2019, I've been talking to everybody about finishing strong. Like, it's time to put your foot on the gas and it's time to go. It's time to get moving. It's time to do what you said in your heart that you've always wanted to do. It's time to get over that season of loss. It's time to come out of that season of grief. There's nothing that's going to change about you continuing to grieve over something or someone. Excuse my voice. I've been singing quite a bit here recently, getting ready for a recording in October with a friend of mine and his group. So I'm helping him out with that, and that's going to be amazing. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we have to manage our time so that we can get more done. So how do you begin to manage your time? First of all, I always tell you on every time I come on here to make sure that you're honest with yourself. Are you giving too much of your time to social media, to, different platforms in social media? Are you giving yourself, you giving too much time away from yourself other people's or other friends' endeavors and activities. You have to have some type of balance, because if not, you'll end up helping everybody do everything that they need to do, and yet you'll find yourself feeling unfulfilled. So we don't want to feel unfulfilled in our life. We want to live life to the full. And in order to do that, we only have 24 hours in a day. That's it. So what are we doing with those 24 hours in our day? If we don't manage it correctly, we'll find that one day will be just like the next. Whether you're dealing with grief or loss or whatever the issue that may be, troubling you at this particular point in your life, if you stay in it too long, it can become unhealthy for you. Not just for you physically, but mentally. We just came out of May, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So you have to be aware of where you are. You have to be honest with yourself and begin to take steps to come out of where you are. Okay? So first thing we want to do is acknowledge and be honest about where we are, and then we'll be able to get a handle on it. It's just like, when you're changing your eating habits, right? Weight Watchers tells you the best way to keep up with what you're eating is to journal it, right? So you have to begin to keep a time journal. Journal your time. Set up your day. What are you doing? What is going on when you're not working or when you're at work? What is taking place that is keeping you from, it seems like it's not enough hours in the day. That means there's a leak in your time somewhere. And that can depress you if you feel like, I just got so much inside of me that I want to do, but you can't seem to find the time to do it. That can put you in a state of depression. That really can, because you're feeling like it'll never happen. But sometimes it's just little small things we need to tweak about ourselves. So we're going to talk about the two cousins at the family reunion that always hang with each other. You know what I mean? You always got those two family members. If they're not cousins, they're siblings, and they feed off each other, right? And that's what time management and emotional management does. Sometimes we grieve things in the process of things too long because we spend too much time and energy there. But what we want to do is begin to tell ourselves that we don't have to stay in the shape that we're in. I love definitions and words. I looked up the definition of time, and what time is the verb enunciation, the verb definition of the word time talks about a place, a set time, a definite time that you're in order to get a point across, that you've given yourself a goal, a short-term goal. Sorry, my mom's giving me a call. I'm going to call her back in a little bit. But there's a definite goal set and a time that you set. And sometimes when we set goals, right, and we set a specific time to get something done, whether it's, by the age of 40, I want to own my own home, or I want to travel and see some other countries, I want to do these things. Well, if we don't begin to put some feet on the time that we set, what we'll find will happen is that these things will take place, right? The time that you set will come and go, and nothing will get accomplished. You'll begin to feel some type of way. Your spirit will begin to be low. You'll give off a low energy, a low vibration. You'll find that mindset of depression and oppression because you're not able to complete the assignment that you've given yourself, the goal that you set. So what are you going to do to change it? Like, we've all been there, right? We start off with New Year's resolutions, and we start off, I'm going to go on a diet in January, and by March, you done forgot, like, diet who, diet where, right? Okay, so what are we going to do to change it? We have to begin to make small changes in order that we can kind of break those twins up. Their time management and emotional management. And if not break them up, then at least make them work for our good and not for our bad. So what are we going to do, you guys? Let's put some comments below, and some of the things that maybe have helped you manage your time, which also you find that helped you with your emotional balance. If you put some comments below, I would love to read them and chime in, because guess what? It's going to take a village to help us out. It's going to take you and I. It's going to take all of us to make sure that we all make it. So I want to encourage you to think about what I said. Think about those two twins, those two cousins at the family reunion, and let's gear it, instead of it being a negative situation, let's make it work for our good, because we're tired of feeling bad about missing goals, right? We want to succeed at something. We want, to pat ourselves on the back and say, yay, I hit my goal, I made it. We want to have more good days than we have bad. So in order to do that, sometimes it's just something minor that we need to tweak in order to make things work out. So I want to encourage you through Inspired Memoirs. We all have different things that we struggle with in life. And I know you may be saying, well, that's better, easier said than done, Lorna. And you don't know what I'm dealing with. And it's been so X amount of years and I'm not able to get over, the hurt of losing my mother, my father, a spouse or a child. I'm here to tell you that pain and grief is pain and grief, and we're here to help you get through it. We can't stay there. There are stages to grief, and maybe I'll talk about some of those stages to grief. We'll do another show on that one. But there are stages to it. You just have to be willing to go through the stages so that your time management and emotional management can level up. We got to come out of what we're dealing with. You can't stay there, because you're grieving and not eating, and you're physically deteriorating and mentally deteriorating yourself. It's not going to cause that loved one to come back, right? If they're gone, then they're gone. It's not going to bring them back, and it's not doing them a service by you allowing yourself to deteriorate. I'm pretty sure if they were here, they would want you to live the best version of your life, the best version of yourself. And it would hurt them to see you in so much pain, to see you in so much agony. So I want to encourage you to let's come out of what we're dealing with. Let's come out of the grief. Let's come out of the struggle. Let's start talking to ourselves and coaching ourselves up. Come on, talk to yourself and let yourself know you can do it. Like, I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm not going to let this defeat me. I'm going to have victory over this situation. I'm going to be happy. You have to speak these things into your atmosphere, because the more you speak them, it has to line up. But you can have whatsoever you say. But don't be afraid to say them. All right, thank you so much for visiting Inspired Memoirs. I'm going to give my mother a call back and make sure she's okay. And I sure hope that you take time tonight to love on somebody, whether it's a family member or a close friend. Get somebody in your village and love on them tonight, okay? Love you all. Thank you so much. And if this information was helpful to you all, then please share it with someone else. Then you'll be surprised how many people struggle with time management and emotional management, not even realizing that they correlate with one another, that they run parallel to each other. So I want to encourage you to live your best life, and I'll see you again next week.